So hey guys, how are you all? Welcome to Dot. So we are back with a brand new movie on what if Naruto inherited Spider-Man's great responsibility. But before we start, be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's begin the story. The Spider Reborn. Naruto hid behind a tree clutching the scroll that Mizuki had tricked him into stealing close to his chest. How could he have been so stupid falling for his ex-teacher's trick? Sure, he wasn't the best at book smarts, but he still should have been able to see through his teacher's trick. And he'd really lost it when he found out he had the demon fox inside him. Or was he the fox? He didn't know anything anymore, and now Iruka practically had one foot in the grave, and it was his entire fault. You're not completely at fault, Naruto. A voice said, making the young ninja jump. You have great power inside you, power that hasn't been seen in centuries, and now it's time to let it be known once again. But always remember, Naruto. With great power, there must also come great responsibility. All at once, Naruto felt a surge of power shoot through his system. SF. Mizuki stood before Iruka, disgusted at the speech he had just given about Naruto. I had been planning on saving you for later, Iruka, but now I think I'll take you out now before I got fox hunting. Mizuki snarled, pulling his giant shuriken from his back and got ready to throw it. Say goodbye, Iruka. He shouted, cackling like a madman. So this is how it ends, huh? Iruka thought, a smirk planted on his face. At least Naruto is safe. However, as the weapon closed in on Iruka, a thick white rope shot out, stuck to the shuriken, and then flicked it back towards Mizuki. What the hell? Mizuki demanded, only to see Naruto drop down from above, the scroll in hand. Naruto, what are you doing here? You need to take the scroll and get out of here. Iruka shouted. I can't do that, Iruka-sensei. Naruto said. I have the power to beat this guy, and with great power comes great responsibility. I hope you're ready to die, little fox. Mizuki sneered, gathering up a handful of kuni and shuriken in his hands. Okay, I know I've got the whiskers and everything, but do I really look that much like a fox? Naruto cracked, a foxy grin appearing on his face. Mizuki growled and threw the weapons at Naruto. The boy held his hands up and tucked his middle and ring fingers in, keeping his index, pinky, and thumb outstretched, and those white ropes shot out from his arms and stuck to Mizuki's weapons, and Naruto pulled them back. While Naruto had been doing that, Mizuki had snuck up behind him with a kuni in hand. Before Iruka could warn Naruto, the orange ninja had jumped out of the way, avoiding the kuni. He landed on a tree branch, hanging upside down from it by his feet. Normally in the ninja world this would be no big deal, but neither Mizuki nor Iruka could feel Naruto using chakra. You know, Mizuki, as much as I love fighting you, I'm afraid I'll have to wrap this up. Naruto said, his grin never leaving his face. Crossing his fingers in front of him, he called out Shadow Clone Jutsu. In various puffs of smoke, a legion of Narutos appeared. Those aren't just illusions, those are the real-life, flesh and blood beings. Iruka thought, stunned that Naruto had preformed such an advanced technique. Now then, Mizuki, Naruto said, cracking his knuckles, let's finish this. The Narutos dived at Mizuki, who disappeared beneath the ocean of orange. A minute later, all of the extra Narutos disappeared in puffs of smoke, leaving only the original. You think I overdid it? He asked, looking over his shoulder at Iruka, who chuckled. Not at all, Naruto, the teacher said, now come here, I have a present for you. Naruto walked over to his teacher. Close your eyes. Iruka ordered. Naruto did as he was told. Okay, you can open them now. When Naruto did, he reached up and felt the metal plate on his forehead and his eyes widened. Congratulations, Naruto, you've passed. Naruto smiled and jumped on into Iruka's arms, which caused him to both laugh out in joy and cry out in pain. But, Naruto, how were you able to do all that stuff? No clue. Naruto admitted. It mostly just came from instinct. Perhaps it comes from a formerly dormant Kekkei Genkai. Itachi said. The Hokage will probably be able to tell you what's happening. Alright, Naruto said. He tied the scroll to his back using his strange ropes and helped Iruka support himself as they made their way to the Hokage's tower. After they arrived and explained what had happened, the Hokage had Iruka taken away by medics and turned to Naruto. Naruto, do you know what the voice was that spoke to you before? The Hokage asked. No clue, old man. Naruto said. But it was a nice kind of voice, soft and gentle. It told me that with great power comes great responsibility. The Hokage blinked. Naruto, there's something you need to know about your parents. The Hokage said. My parents? Naruto asked, stunned. That's right. The Hokage said, rising. Please, come with me. The Hokage led Naruto to the Hokage monument, inside the fourth's head to be exact. Your father was a historian, Naruto, who specialized in researching Kekkei Genkais and also looked through history to find ones that had gone extinct or were laid dormant for whatever reason. He believed that our mother had one such bloodline. Do you know what it's called? Naruto asked. I believe that it was known as the Spider-Man bloodline, the Hokage replied, named after the originator of the power. You see Naruto, there was a time before the world we live in now. Your father believed that it was an age of heroes where people with skills of ninja and beyond populated the world, some protecting it, while some others wanted to conquer it. Your mother is believed to be the descendant of one such hero. Can you tell me who they are? Naruto asked. My parents, I mean. The old man sighed and looked Naruto with sorrowful eyes. I cannot, Naruto, I promised them that I wouldn't until you reached 18 or became a jonin. He explained. They made a lot of enemies outside the village and your mother believed that with you being a target inside the village, she didn't want you to any more than that. Naruto sighed but nodded. Even though they didn't know each other, his parents were looking out for him. The Hokage led Naruto to a hidden chamber in the fourth's head with a seal on the door. Stepping aside, he let Naruto open it to show a giant room filled with files and papers that looked absolutely ancient. Naruto walked in and looked around at all the information. Many of them appeared to have a strange symbol on them, like some kind of shield with an eagle or something on it. All of this is yours to do with what you wish, Naruto. The Hokage explained. I will always be around should you ever need assistance with anything. With that he bowed and left Naruto alone. Naruto walked through the small library his father had created. After a while of looking, he found a file marked Peter Spider-Man Parker. Something inside him just knew that this was the file he wanted, but when he opened it, he found he couldn't read the writing inside. I can read it. Came the soft voice from the forest. Who are you? Naruto asked. In another time, another place, I was known as Mary Jane Watson Parker, but here, I am known as the Kyuubi no Kichisin. The voice responded. The Kyuubi? Naruto asked. Create one of your shadow clones with as little chakra as possible, it'll make things easier. The Kyuubi requested. Naruto nodded and created a shadow clone. A moment after its creation, it was covered in red chakra and transformed into a beautiful red-haired woman with green eyes. She also had 9 long bushy red tails that matched her hair, along with fur along her arms and legs, and a small tuft between her breasts. Her hands and feet resembled paws. She also had whisker marks like Naruto along her cheeks and 2 pointed fox ears protruding from her hair. She wore a long red kimono. All in all, Naruto found her stunning. Well, Tiger, looks like you just hit the jackpot. The fox woman said with dazzling smile. Naruto's jaw was close to dislocating from the rest of his head as he looked at the woman. You'll catch flies doing that, Naruto. She giggled, pushing up Naruto's jaw with her finger. Are you really the fox? Naruto asked. Yes, I am, but like I said, in another time, I was a woman named Mary Jane Watson Parker. She said, and Naruto could see the sadness in her eyes. And then something clicked in his head. Wait a minute, I know that name, Parker. Naruto said. Mary Jane smiled as she laid a hand on the file that Naruto. You should, he was your ancestor. Mary Jane said. And the love of my life. What was he like? Naruto asked. Mary Jane chuckled a little. He was strong, courageous, always believed in doing the right thing, especially after his uncle died. Mary Jane said fondly. That was when he decided to help people and that with great power come great responsibility. You miss him? Naruto said. What happened? I made a deal with the devil to save his aunt when she was dying. Mary Jane said, tears beginning to form in her eyes. In exchange for saving her life and making everyone forget that Peter was Spider-Man, the devil would rewrite history that he and I would never be together and I would become his demon. Tears were now falling freely from her eyes. Naruto walked forward and held her as she cried into his shoulder. Thank you. She said. So, what kind of powers did I get from him? Naruto asked. And how did they come up anyway? Peter could just about literally do anything a spider could, stick to walls, had enhanced strength and agility, he could spin webs from his wrists, and he had a spider sense that could warn him of danger. Is it like a tickling in the back of the head? Naruto asked. That's how Peter always described it. Mary Jane said with a smile. Looking at him, she reached over and stroked his cheek. You know, you may not be my Peter, but you are pretty cute. Naruto blushed a little. Mary Jane giggled at the embarrassed young man. So, you know how to read his strange writing? Naruto asked. Yes, I do, and when I dispel the clone I possessed, so will you. Mary Jane said before she disappeared. Naruto's eyes went wide as all the new information was downloaded into his mind. He shook his head slightly and then smiled. Thanks, MJ. Naruto said, learning her favorite nickname. Naruto spent the rest of the night reading every file there was in his father's library with the shadow clones, but when he dispelled them, he suffered information overload and passed out. Inside a cage, Mary Jane chuckled at the boy. You're going to be a great man, Naruto, I'm sure of it. Team selections. In the time that Naruto had discovered his heritage and powers, he had made a lot of changes in his life. Many of which Mary Jane had had something to do with. The first was his wardrobe. Under MJ's orders, her suggestions, Naruto had switched out his orange jumpsuit with a black overcoat with orange lining, a red hoodie, blue shinobi pants, and some rather thin shoes that would help him stick to walls. The wall crawling part of his training had been easy to figure out. He had also found that nothing short of knocking him unconscious would get him to fall from whatever he was sticking to. The web slinging, that had been another story. Naruto had to practice like crazy to learn how to web sling without running into something and turning himself into a ninja pancake. His spider sense had also been a big help with his day-to-day life and his web slinging. A week later, Naruto found himself in the classroom earlier than anyone else. It was the day of team selections, and he had had a hard time falling back to sleep that morning, so he just decided to head into class early and hang around. Which was exactly what he was doing, hanging upside down from a web line. A little while later, some of his classmates started to walk in. The first two were Hinata Hyuga and Kiba Inuzuka. Naruto gave a small smile when he saw that Hinata was smiling and Akamaru, Kiba's dog and partner, was running around her feet. Kiba had always looked out for Hinata during their academy days. Shinobruma was the next to walk in. He was the strong silent type, emphasis on the silent. Shikamaru Nara walked in next, his eyes half closed and hands behind his head, with Choji Akamichi, the gentle giant, right behind him. For a second, Naruto though he saw Shikamaru look at him, but then the shadow user just shrugged it off and kept walking. Sasuke Uchiha, the breeding Uchiha clan massacre survivor, walked into the room, sat down and did nothing else. Finally, the pink and blonde blurs of Sakura Haruno and Ino Yamanaka pushed each other through the door, fighting over who would sit next to Sasuke. Naruto rolled his eyes and wondered why in the name of the gods these two girls wanted to become ninja. As far as Yamanaka, I think it's the family tradition. MJ whispered in Naruto's mind. As for the Haruno, I have no idea. Naruto smiled at the thoughts of his partner. Iruka walked in, looking amongst the crowds for Naruto, but finally spotting him hanging from the ceiling. With a smile and a shake of his head, Iruka walked over to his desk and gave them a graduation speech. Now onto the team placements, Iruka said, tapping some papers on his desk. Team 7 will consist of Kiba Inuzuka, Hinata Hyuga, and Sasuke Uchiha. No. Sakura and Ino screamed, cracking several windows in the classroom. Yes, right then. Iruka said, digging a finger in his ear. Team 8 will consist of Yoshino Abramari, Sakura Haruno, and Naruto Uzumaki. Iruka-sensei, I thought you failed Naruto. Sakura said. Besides, he's not even here. Iruka chuckled and looked up at his favorite student. Naruto, would you please come down and join the class? Iruka asked. Everyone followed his line of sight, and just about every jaw hit the floor at the sight of Naruto hanging upside from the web line. Do I have to, Iruka-sensei? It's so comfortable up here. Naruto said with a smile. Now Naruto, Iruka snapped. Naruto sighed and let himself drop, displaying some impressive aerial acrobatics before landing flawlessly on table next to Shino. Looks like we're going to be teammates, Shino, Naruto said, glancing at the overcoat-wearing boy. Sakura meanwhile was just staring at Naruto with wide eyes, stunned that he had been hanging up there from the ceiling for who knows how long. The final team, Team 10, will consist of Shikamaru Nara, Ino Yamanaka, and Choji Akamichi. Iruka finished. Your new teachers will be here after lunch to pick you up. After he left, everybody in the room swarmed towards Naruto and started asking questions. How did you do that? Was that some kind of jutsu? How'd you pass? What's with the new outfit? The questions bombarded Naruto so much that he shot another web line up at the ceiling and pulled himself up before flipping and stood on the ceiling. Everyone's jaws dropped at the sight. Oh, how do you have this power? Sasuke demanded, glaring up at him. It's a Kekkei Genkai that I get from my mother, if you must know. Naruto said, crossing his arms. But you're an orphan. Kiba pointed out. How do you know it's from you, mom? Found out a few things about my folks. Naruto said with a shrug. Turns out my dad was a historian who was looking into the history of bloodlines. Apparently my mom had an old one that just so happened to awaken in me. The rest of the time was spent dealing with question after question about how he graduated and what he could do with his new powers. After what seemed like forever, he managed to slip away to get some lunch. Afterwards, he sat in the classroom next to Shino and Sakura. Shino was his usual stoic self, but Sakura was looking at Naruto as if trying to figure out the new him. Not long after most of the students returned, a woman walked in with dark hair and bright red eyes. Teammate, I am Kurana Yuhi and I will be your sensei. Please follow me. She called out. Naruto, Shino, and a reluctant Sakura got up and followed their new sensei out of the room. Kurenai led her team to a small clearing before turning to them. Alright, let's get to know each other a bit. Kurenai said. We'll start with the basics, who you are, likes and dislikes, hopes and dreams. Would you mind going first and showing us how it's done? Sakura asked, looking at the woman. Alright, my name Kurenai Yuhi. My likes are my friends Anko and Hana. My dislikes are perverts and a certain orange's book. Her eyes seemed to flash slightly at the mention of the book. My hobbies are working to create new genjutsus and spending time with those I care about. My dream is to make sure you and any genin team I get that comes after you become great ninja that will have been trained so well they die of old age. She turned to Shino and pointed at him. How about you start us off? My name is Shino Abramari. My likes are my family and my bugs. My dislikes and anyone who would try and hurt a person and have no just cause behind it. Shino said. My hobbies include bug collecting and training. My dream is to succeed my father as clan head and to hopefully make some friends outside my clan. Kurenai nodded and turned to Sakura. Your turn, Pinky. She said. My name is Sakura Haruno. My likes are, well, there's a certain boy, my dislikes are Ino Pig and Naruto. Sakura said, causing Naruto and Kurenai to roll their eyes. They couldn't tell if Shino had because his face was like stone. My hobbies are learning about things. My dream is to marry into a good clan so I can take care of my family. Kurenai didn't think she could really make much of a ninja, but could probably make a decent spy if necessary. And last but not least, blonde over here. Kurenai said, pointing at Naruto, who disappeared. They all looked up to see Naruto sticking to a tree branch by his feet. Oh sorry, name's Naruto Uzumaki. My likes are training, web slinging, wall crawling and ramen. My dislikes are anyone who blames people for stuff that's not their fault and the time it takes to make ramen. Naruto explained, dropping from his branch and landing on his feet. My hobbies are pretty much the same as my likes, except I also like to learn more about the past. My dream is to become a great hero, even if that doesn't mean I'm the Hokage. Very interesting, Kurenai said. So the whole sticking to walls thing is a bloodline. Something like that. Naruto confirmed with a smile. Well now, onto the final test. Kurenai said, looking at her students. Final test? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. What are you talking about, Kurenai-sensei? You see, only about a third of your actual graduating class will become ninja. The final test is something to see how well you all work in the field as opposed to the classroom. Naruto glanced around at Shino and Sakura, taking in the information. Shino appeared to be calculating scenarios that they might be in while Sakura was looking scared. And this is going to happen now? She asked while Kurenai nodded. So what's the test? Shino asked, stone-faced and monotone. Kurenai pulled out a file and placed it on the ground in front of them. Naruto picked it up and opened it. Your target is Kakashi Haddock, or to be more precise, his book Ichi Ichi Paradise. Kurenai explained. You will have until noon tomorrow to get a hold of the book and bring to me by noon, and then you pass. Naruto took the folder and glanced over at his teammates. Shino nodded, but Sakura seemed hesitant. It says here Sasuke's on Kakashi's team. Naruto mentioned in an offhand manner. Sakura's eye brightened at this. That was low, Naruto. Mary Jane scolded the young boy. Yeah, but necessary, Naruto countered. So where do we meet? He asked Kurenai. Right here, she said. So that means you're taking the mission. Of course we are. Shino said for his teammates. Then good luck, I think you'll need it. Kurenai said before disappearing in a puff of smoke. Come on, we need to put a plan together to get this book from Kakashi. Naruto said. I know a place we can go. Naruto led them inside the fourth's head and walked into his father's library. What is all this? Sakura asked. Files my dad was able to get together about a history on bloodlines. Naruto said, moving over to a table and stacked up some other files on Captain America and Iron Man and set them off to the side. How do you read this? Shino asked, glancing at a few of the files. A friend taught me how to read it. Naruto said, placing Kakashi's file on the table. Pull up a seat so we can figure out how we're going to do this. Sakura and Shino took the seat as Naruto placed Kakashi's picture on the table. Kakashi Haddock, according to Kurenai-sensei's file, he served in the Third Great Ninja War and goes by the nickname the Copy Ninja because he seems to have the ability to copy enemy jutsus. Sounds like he might have a Sharingan, Sakura said. It would explain his copying ability. Possible but doubtful, Naruto said, pulling out a scroll. The Sharingan is an Uchiha exclusive bloodline. A transplant would be possible, but he would have had to have an Uchiha's permission or else the family would have wanted his head on the plate. It would be possible, he does keep his eye hidden. Shino said. Of course that could just be because he wouldn't have an eye at all. We'll work on this little theory some other time. Naruto said. Right now we've got to figure out how we're going to get this book from him. According to the file, it says that Kakashi has never passed a genin team and he always carries that book around with him. Does it say when his team is going to be taking their test like we are? Sakura asked. Naruto glanced at the file before turning back to his pink-haired teammate. It says that they're doing it tomorrow around 8 or so. Naruto said. But the file says he's just about always 2 hours late for any appointment. What are you thinking, Sakura? Shino asked, joining the pair. If we use their exam as a distraction to try and keep him off balance, we can probably get him. Sakura said. Of course that fact that you'll be seeing Sasuke doesn't hurt either, does it? Naruto said. Sakura blushed slightly while Naruto sniggered. All in all, it is a good plan though. SF. After Kakashi had explained his exam to Sasuke, Kiba and Hinata and started it, Naruto slowly lowered himself down on a web line from a tree. "Coast is clear, guys," he said. Sakura and Shino slowly dropped down from their own trees. "You bug him, Shino." "Female sitting on his forehead protector," said Shino. "Wherever he goes, my bugs can find him." "Alright, I know we had a set plan to use the exam as a distraction, but I've got another idea," said Naruto. "We work with his team and let them worry about who gets the bells. It would certainly make our mission easier," Shino said. "Alright, I'll go and get Sasuke," Sakura said, preparing to go, but Naruto pulled her back with a web line. "I don't think so, Sakura," said Naruto. "You're going after Hinata. Shino, you go find Kiba, I'll go find Sasuke." After nodding, teammates scattered to go find Team 7. SF. Naruto landed behind Sasuke. The boy jumped and was about to shout, but Naruto covered his mouth. "Take it easy, Sasuke, I'm here to talk," said Naruto. "Talk about what, dope?" asked Sasuke. "My team is working with yours to try to get those bells from your sensei," explained Naruto. "Coincidentally, we need to get something off of him for our test as well." "I don't need your help," said Sasuke. "I can get that bell on my own with no trouble at all." "Right," said Naruto. "Well, if you need the help, you can find us," he said before disappearing. SF. Naruto landed in the group of Sakura, Hinata, Kiba and Shino. "Alright, so we're all here," Naruto said. "What about Sasuke?" asked Sakura, disappointed. "Oh, you know, the usual egotistical moron saying he could do everything on his own," Naruto said in an offhand manner. "Don't talk about Sasuke like that," Sakura snapped, lunging at Naruto, who dodged her attack, so he hit Kiba. "Alright, let's get down to business," Naruto said. "Kurenai-sensei's file said that Kakashi tends to be vain and will try and read his book when testing students," Shino said. "Naruto, I think he'll underestimate you and Kiba the most." "I feel slightly insulted," Kiba said. "Well, get over it," Naruto said, glancing at Kiba. "What about you guys? While you're distracting Kakashi, I'll use my bugs to try and weaken his chakra reserves," Shino explained. "Sakura, Hinata, when you two see an opening for either the book or the bells, you take it. Once we've acquired everything, we rendezvous at our meeting place for Kurenai-sensei." "Wow, pretty well thought out plan," Hinata commented. "That's Shino for you," Naruto said. "Now let's get going." SF. Kakashi stood in a clearing, rubbing the back of his neck. There were a couple of things that were bugging him. First, he thought his students, or at least Kiba, would have attacked him by now. The other thing was that there were 3 new chakra signals that he hadn't expected. Before he could continue his contemplation, Kiba and, to his surprise, Naruto jumped out of the trees. "And just what is Karina's student doing here?" Kakashi asked. "I'm after the book, One Eye," Naruto said. "So just hand it and the bell's over and you don't get hurt." "You kid," Kakashi said, pulling out the book in question and flicking it open. "But you've got practically no chance of getting either one." "Practically no chance, huh?" asked Naruto, glancing at Kiba. "Then that means that there's still a chance." And without another word, the 2 genins charged forward and attacked Kakashi. As he fought, Kakashi began judging the 2 of them. They worked well with each other. Kiba and Akamaru moved like they had one mind, a fast, sloppy, and slightly predictable mind, but nothing a little work couldn't straighten out. Naruto, on the other hand, was a complete other story. It was like he knew when Kakashi was going to attack him and was able to properly defend himself. On top of that, his strength and agility were amazing, as were those strange white ropes he managed to shoot from his wrists. Overall, Kakashi was impressed. He could just barely read his book while fighting these 2, and from the reports they were said to be near the bottom of the class. But then, Kakashi reminded himself, a ninja was supposed to be able to look underneath the underneath. They may not have book smarts, but they clearly had street smarts and skills. As the fight progressed, Kakashi felt himself feeling weaker. Glancing down, he saw a small swarm of bugs were slowly crawling up his leg. "Eyes on the fight, Kakashi," Naruto said. Kakashi's eyes snapped up in time to see Naruto flying at him using the webs as a slingshot and slammed into Kakashi, sending him skidding back. Kiba followed Naruto with his tunneling fang and drilled into Kakashi. Sakura and Hinata jumped out of the bushes and attacked. Hinata with her gentle fist style while Sakura hung back looking for an opening. "Still not sure what Kurenai's students are doing here, but they're working pretty well with my own team," Kakashi thought. "As far as Hinata goes, she's not too bad, but it seems like she's forcing her style. I'll have to help her out with that. Now where's Sasuke?" As if the universe wanted to answer his question, the shout of fire style. Fireball jutsu. Everyone looked back behind them to see the giant fireball come flying at them, with no regard to the other ninja. Everyone scatter. Naruto shouted. The ninjas didn't need telling twice as they all jumped away to avoid the fireball. But as it drew closer, Sakura tripped and fell down right in the fireball's path. Sakura! Yelled Naruto, shooting a web line at the top of a tree and swung towards the pink-haired girl, grabbing her around the middle and swinging them to safety. Sakura looked up at her blonde savior. Maybe it was the way the light was hitting him, maybe it was the expression of determination on his face, but Sakura saw something in the blonde that she'd never seen in him before, never seen in almost anyone, not ever Sasuke. "Sakura, are you okay?" Naruto asked when they landed. "Yeah, I'm fine, thank you," Sakura said. "Oh, find the other and regroup, tell Shino he's in charge," Naruto said. "What about you?" asked Sakura. "I'm going to have a talk with Sasuke," Naruto growled. "A nice long, physical, talk. SF." Sasuke jumped through the trees, cursing to himself for giving himself away and for that idiot Naruto warning Kakashi about the fireball. Sure, he and the others would have been hit by the jutsu, but it was a necessary sacrifice. While he was busy cursing everyone, he found he slammed into what appeared to be a giant spider web. Well, it looks like the fly fell into the web," a sultry voice said. A red-haired woman who looked like she was part fox strutted into Sasuke's line of sight. "Who are you?" demanded Sasuke. "I'm not someone you want to piss off," the woman said, sliding her clawed finger across his cheek. "But keep this in mind, Uchiha, I'll be watching you, and if you ever do something like attacking your own teammates again, then the restoration of the Uchiha clan will have nothing to do with you." This time she slid her claw near her manhood, causing the boy to shudder. "What do you care if I get rid of those weaklings?" Sasuke demanded. "I care," she purred before turning more fox-like. "I'll be watching," she roared before poofing out of existence. A few trees away, Naruto had a smile on his face. And the award for Best Monster in a Horror Movie goes to Mary Jane Watson Parker for her role as the nine-tailed fox demon in Sasuke Uchiha Shits His Pants. Naruto said, applauding slightly with a smirk. In his mind's eye, he saw MJ smiling and holding a small golden statue. "I'd like to thank everyone who made this possible," Mary Jane said, pretending to cry. "I'd like to thank my vessel Naruto for being so supportive and Sasuke Uchiha for being a grade A prick." Naruto smiled before he jumped away to regroup with the rest of the ninja. "Where's Sasuke?" Sakura asked. "Let's just say he's stuck with something right now," Naruto said with a smirk. "Alright, there's still about 30 minutes left in the test, what's the plan?" Kiba asked. "I've got a plan," Naruto said. "Hinata, do you know where Kakashi's at?" Hinata activated her Byakugan and pointed in a direction. "Alright, I'm going to swarm him and try and distract him. If any of you see an opening for bells or book, go for it." Everyone nodded. SF. "Not much time left for the test, almost a shame, I think I actually wanted to teach those kids," Kakashi thought. "Maybe if Kurenai passes her team I can join teach." His thoughts were interrupted as Naruto jumped out of a tree, a couple hundred Narutos jumped out of a tree and started firing web lines. Kakashi tried dodging and using substitution jutsus, but he couldn't escape the rain of spider webs. Before he knew it though, Hinata leapt out, grabbing Kakashi's bells with one hand and his book with the other. "The others?" asked Naruto. "I'll already on their way to where you suppose," Hinata reported. "Then let's get going, grab onto my back," Naruto said. Hinata looked at him, blushing for a minute before grabbing onto Naruto's back. Naruto meanwhile fired 2 web lines at the top of trees and slingshot towards the meeting place. SF. Kurenai stood in the clearing with her arms crossed. She was disappointed, her first genin team, and she was going to have to fail them. It was a shame too, they all had so much potential, especially that Naruto kid. She was brought out of her musings as Shino, Sakura, and another she recognized as Kiba Inuzuka and his dog Akamaru. "What are you guys doing back without the book and with one of Kakashi's students?" Karina asked. Naruto dropped down with Hinata on his back. Setting the shaking Hinata on the ground, Naruto turned to Kurenai with Kakashi's book. "Here you go, boss lady," Naruto said, handing it to her. "Not bad, you guys," Kurenai said. "But again, what are you going with Kakashi's students?" "We made a deal with them," Shino explained. "They help us with our test, we help them with theirs." "Speaking of which," Naruto said as the alarm Kakashi set up started to go off. A second later the man himself appeared in puff of smoke. "Most impressive, Naruto, and it seems that by working with my students, you've both passed the tests, but where is Sasuke?" "Oh yeah, him," Naruto said. "Hang on a sec." Naruto called up a shadow clone and sent it to trees and came back a moment later with Sasuke wrapped up in webs. "Why is Sasuke wrapped up webbing?" Sakura screamed. "Safety precaution," Naruto said flatly. After all, this is the guy who almost turned us all into crispy critters. What evidence do you have? Sasuke demanded. I believe you said, and I quote, "What do you care if I get rid of those weaklings?" Naruto said, glaring at him. But you," Sasuke stuttered. "Weren't there?" Naruto asked. "Did the creature you were talking to look like this?" Naruto transformed into Mary Jane and then back again, making Sasuke go wide-eyed. "And I meant what I said, Sasuke, if you ever go after my teammates like that or Kami forbid your own team, then I swear to you, you will have nothing to do with the restoration of the Uchiha clan." But that he turned around and rejoined his team. Sakura and Shino were both looking at Naruto as if in a new light, Sakura because he was standing up for her and Shino for his dedication to his teammates. "Well, it sure looks like my team's passed," Kurenai said, holding Kakashi's book. What are you going to do with that?" Kakashi asked nervously. Kurenai smirked and opened the book. She placed a note in the book and tossed it in the air. "No!" Kakashi shouted as the book exploded, raining down flaming pages. "Time to head out, teammate," Kurenai said. "Meet back here tomorrow for training and missions." Kurenai disappeared in a swirl of leaves. Sakura glanced at Sasuke. "Are you going to let him out?" she asked. "Nah," Naruto said. "The webs will dissolve in about an hour or so, he'll be fine." He and Kiba both shared a laugh. "Hey Sakura, I swing by your place on my way home, you want a lift?" Sakura was about to scream at Naruto that there wasn't a chance in hell, but she shook her head. "No thanks," Sakura said, waving him away. "Alright, maybe another time," Naruto said. Nodding to Shino, he jumped off, firing a web line and swung away while Sakura walked away. Shino however glanced at Kiba and Hinata. "Watch out for each other," he said. "If you need help, look for either me or Naruto, Leaf Ninja, look out for each other, even if it's against our own." And with that he left. The land of waves. Naruto jumped from tree to tree, tracking the target his team was going after. Shino had placed a special bug on it and Naruto was using it to help him track it while Sakura was tracking it from the ground. "Anyone got a lock on this thing yet?" Naruto asked into the communicator. "It is not that easy, Naruto, the target probably knows the area better than any one of us," Shino replied. "Yeah, Naruto, I mean, how many times have other teams gone after it?" Sakura asked. Since their formation as a team, Naruto, Sakura and Shino had grown close. Shino had become the group's tactician. Every mission Shino quickly figured out the best way to approach the situation and what each person could do. Sakura, with no Sasuke to distract her and Kurenai to act as a role model, had calmed down some and didn't beat Naruto so much. And even when she did, it was almost like it was in good humor. Naruto was undeniably the heart and soul of Team 8. In sparring matches he could beat the others with little ease thanks to his spider sense, which he explained to his teammates after about a month of working together. He still kept most of the secrets, family heritage, MJ, stuff like that, to himself. "I've got a lock on the target," Sakura shouted. Naruto landed on a tree branch and looked down. He instantly spotted a rustle in the bushes and two blurs, the farther one being pink, shoot out of the bushes. Naruto leapt above them following the blurs. "Naruto, where the hell are you?" Sakura asked, dodging trees. "Right above you," Naruto replied. Sakura made a quick pause and looked up to indeed see Naruto jumping above them. Naruto meanwhile got a lock on the target and as soon as they entered a clearing, he fired a web line that snagged the target and then it was just a matter of cocooning the thing so it wouldn't get away. "Looks like we got the furball again," Naruto said, picking the cat by its unwebbed tail. "It's the right cat, isn't it?" Kurenai asked over the radio. Naruto turned the cat to the side, ignoring the hissing to check its ear for the Tora ribbon. "Yep, the evil Tora has been captured by the amazing Spider-Man," Naruto said, striking a heroic pose. Unfortunately, Sakura happened to walk into the clearing and promptly bopped Naruto on the head. "Ouch. Well, quit posing like an idiot," Sakura snapped. "Now let's go, I don't want that little monster anywhere near me when your webs dissolve." She absent-mindedly ran her hand along the phantom scratches from last time. "Good point," Shino agreed. "Ah." Naruto jumped, nearly dropping Tora. "Shino, will you stop doing that? You're going to give me a heart attack." "How come that spider sense thing doesn't go off when he does that?" Sakura asked as the team started to make its way out of the forest. "It only alerts me to danger and unless Shino's going to sick his bugs on me, I'm not going to feel a thing," Naruto explained. "I am sorry, Naruto, although lately, I have found it to be rather fun," Shino said, causing his two teammates to look at him with raised eyebrow. "So, you actually have fun nearly scaring Naruto to death?" Sakura asked. "Is that so hard to conceive that I would find these things enjoyable?" Shino asked. "No, it's not that, it's just that, well, now that I think about it, we don't really know what you do for fun," Sakura said. "I mean, we know a lot about you, but for all we know you just sit in the dark and meditate for fun," Naruto said. Well, I do enjoy doing that. Shino said, causing his teammates to sweat drop. But I also enjoy learning about bugs and I have a good time playing card games. Card games, you say? Naruto said with a smile. Promise not to use those bugs of yours and I'd be happy to take your money away from you. You can try and believe me, you will fail. Shino said, and Naruto and Sakura could swear they heard a hint of humor in his voice. They continued making their way and met Kurenai at the Hokage's office, where they proceeded to watch Tora nearly get crushed through the webbing by the giant of a woman that was his owner. Would it be alright to feel sorry for that cat? Sakura asked. Naruto and Shino just looked at her, then at each other and just shrugged. The Hokage, Iruka and Kurenai meanwhile were discussing something over in the corner in hushed voices. Teammate. The Hokage shouted, getting the three kids' attention. I have a B-ranked mission for you. Sakura's jaw dropped and Shino and Naruto looked at each other. What's the mission? Shino asked. Not long after I sent Team 7 off on a C-rank escort mission, they sent a message back saying that the client, a bridge builder named Tazuna of the Land of Wave, had lied and that he now has missing ninja after him. Instead of turning back, Team 7 decided to continue on and requested backup. And what, you want us to be the backup? Naruto said. The old man nodded. Naruto looked back and forth between his teammates. Shino looked at Naruto and nodded, but Sakura looked nervous, biting her lip. We don't have to go, Sakura, there are other teams in the village that can go after Sasuke's team and back them up. At the mention of the Uchiha, Sakura perked up slightly. Let's go, I think we might be able to handle it. Sakura said. Very well, pack up and leave as soon as possible. The Hokage ordered. Yes, sir. Teammates shouted and bolted out of the office. An hour later they were flying through the trees. It was kind of low using Sasuke against me like that, Naruto. Sakura said, looking up at the blonde boy. Well, on the one hand you hesitated a little before saying yes. Naruto said, turning around to look at her, trusting his spider sense to make sure he didn't crash into anything and kill himself. But you're right and I really wanted to go on this mission. I promise you though, I'll make sure you go home alive. Sakura smiled and nodded. Giving the girl a salute, Naruto spun around backwards and leapt off a branch. Near the end of the day, the team arrived at the small fishing town where they were supposed to meet up with Team 7 and the client. Kurenai, they sent your team to assist us. Kakashi said, stepping out of a hut. The Hokage felt that our team would be the best to assist you. Kurenai said. Now would you mind give us a rundown as to what we're up against? As Kakashi gave Kurenai what had so far transpired on the mission, Teams 7 and 8 visited with one another. What's up, Naruto, team been working out okay? Kiba asked. More or less, Kiba. Naruto said. Shino's slowly but surely opening up to us all, and Sakura's actually living up to being called the top kunoichi in outclass. Shino, shocking teammate, actually gave a small smile, and Sakura was blushing a little at his praise. Still don't know why they sent a team of weaklings to help us. Sasuke muttered. Naruto shot a glare at the Uchiha and out of the corner of his eye, saw Shino starting to release his bugs. Easy there, Shino. Naruto said, glancing over at his teammate. And Sasuke, I seem to recall the 5 of us going up against Kakashi-sensei while you were jacking off in the trees. Kiba howled with laughter and Sakura went red in the face. So how have things been with your team, Hinata? Shino asked, trying to change the subject before a fight broke out. They alright, Hinata stuttered. Kakashi-sensei has tried teaching us teamwork, but we've been having trouble. Let me guess, mister, I can do everything myself? Asked Naruto, jerking a finger at Sasuke. Yeah, and he blames me and Hinata for it. Kiba said. I mean, it's one thing for him to blame me, but it just boils my blood when he blames Hinata when she doesn't do anything. Akamaru yapped in agreement. Alright team, listen up. Kurenai said, getting everyone's attention. The client, Tazuna here, had to lie about the risks on this mission because his village is poor and under the control of a business kingpin, wink wink, and has hired missing ninja to take him out. So when do we get back on the road? Shino asked. Kurenai paused and looked up at the sky to see the position of the sun. If everyone's ready we can go now. She said. Everyone quickly gathered up their respective equipment and proceeded to make their way to the shore where a boat was waiting for them. As they proceeded across, Naruto looked at Tazuna and took him in. He was an old man if his white hair was any indication and apparently a drink or two by his beer gut. When they came in sight of Tazuna's bridge, everyone's jaws dropped. Damn, that is pretty freaking impressive. Naruto said. Thank you, it is my masterpiece. Tazuna said. And when I get it done, we'll finally be free from Gato's control. How bad are things in your village? Shino asked. Gato controls everything that goes in or comes out and has complete control over home, much to charge for it. Tazuna explained, tightening his hands into fists. He has all the power and anyone who goes up against him ends up dead. He must be a strong and powerful man. Hinata said. Only with money. Tazuna spat bitterly. The little bastard is only about 4 feet tall. Naruto actually burst into laughter at the revelation but was quickly shushed so that they wouldn't attract unwanted. When they reached land, Kakashi and Kurenai took the lead while the others slid into formation. Sasuke and Kiba, the heaviest hitters in the group, pulsed Kiba's smell to forewarn them of enemies, stood in front Tazuna, while Sakura and Hinata with her Byakugan active stood at Tazuna's sides for defense, with Sakura's impressive Genjutsu abilities and Hinata's gentle fist style. While Naruto and Shino hung back in case someone tried to sneak up on them. Naruto heard a rustling in the bushes to his right and fired a web line at it, and when he pulled back, only a snow-white rabbit was at the end. "Oh, what a pretty bunny," Sakura gushed. Naruto sniggered at her, prompting her to bop him on the head. "That rabbit's fur is white," Shino said. "But it's spring, it should be in its spring coat," Kiba said. "Substitution jutsu," Sakura said. Hinata, Kiba and Shino quickly went into tracker mode while Naruto tried reaching out with his spider sense. Suddenly it started screaming in his head. "We've got incoming," he shouted. While everyone ducked down, Naruto jumped upward to avoid the giant sword that came flying at them. Backflipping, Naruto landed in front of the group, still clutching the rabbit. "Not bad, kid, you've got some pretty good moves for a little rookie." A tall man wearing cameo pants and bandages around his face. "Thanks, it's a family trait," Naruto said. "I assume this is your rabbit. Just let it go, it'll find its way back home," the man said. Naruto nodded and let the rabbit go. "Zabuza Mamuchi, renegade ninja from the Hidden Mist village," Kakashi said, stepping up in front of Naruto. "Left the village after a failed attempt to kill the Mizukage," Kurenai said. "I'm flattered you two know me, copy ninja Kakashi, and if I'm not mistaken Karina Yuki, a mistress of Genjutsu if the rumors are true," Zabuza said. "I had the usual bingo book back in the day and I'm afraid the lovely lady's profile was not in it yet." "Flattery will get you nowhere," Kurenai said. "Trust me pal, just about everyone in the village tried to hit on Kurenai-sensei here and she turns down everyone," Naruto said. "But because you're hitting on her, I think I'll kick your ass." While this was going on, the others were dealing with Kakashi's revelation of the Sharingan eye. "Hold on Naruto," Karina said. "This guy is a bit out of your league." She turned to the others. "I want you all to stay back and protect Azuna while Kakashi and I deal with him." The group nodded and jumped back to protect their charge. Zabuza chuckled and jumped down onto the lake and proceeded to release a deep mist. "What the hell is this?" Kiba said. "The Hidden Mist Jutsu," Karina said. "It's a standard jutsu for even genin in the Hidden Mist village." "Air raid targets," Zabuza said through the mist. "What?" Shino said. "Throat, spinal cord, lungs, liver," Zabuza continued, his voice apparently everywhere, "the jugular vein, the subclavian artery, kidney, heart." "What the hell is this eyebrowless freak talking about?" Kiba asked, using his senses to try and find him while Shino was using his bugs and Hinata was using her Byakugan. "So many choices. What vital vulnerable place shall I choose?" He chuckled sadistically. Everyone under Jonin level ninja was shaking, Sasuke and Sakura were shaking with fear, while Kiba, Hinata and Shino were straining to try and find him. Naruto was shaking with excitement. "You're actually excited to fight this guy Naruto?" Mary Jane asked. "This is the kind of person that a murdering vigilante called the Punisher used to fight back in Peter's day." "That was back in Great-Grandpa Peter's day," Naruto said with a smile. "This is how I do things." In his subconscious, Mary Jane was shaking her head. "And I thought Frank Castle was crazy," she thought privately to herself. On the outside, Kakashi and Kurenai were telling their respective students that they would protect them with their lives. Not long after those reassuring words left their lips did Naruto's spider sense start screaming. 6 o'clock. He yelled, whirling around and firing web lines as Zabuza appeared out of the mist and got hit with a face full of webbing. "You little brat," Zabuza said, trying to claw the webbing out of his eyes. Kakashi took this advantage to stab Zabuza with a kuni, only for him to turn into a water clone. When the real one appeared to try and bisect Kakashi, Kurenai appeared and tried to trap him in a Genjutsu, only for that one to be reviled a water clone too. Finally, the real Zabuza kicked the two senseis into the water. Before they could recover, Zabuza appeared behind and quickly encased the two of them in water prison jutsus. "Everyone run, now that we're trapped you can't beat him, just take Tazuna and run," Kakashi shouted. "His water clones can only get so far away before they fall apart." "That would be the wrong move Kakashi-sensei," Shino said. "All Zabuza would have to do is wait until you and Kurenai-sensei drown before he would start hunting us down." "What's the plan, Shino?" Naruto asked. "Sakura, you, Sasuke and I will stay back and watch Tazuna," Shino explained. "Kiba and Naruto will back up Hinata." "Why are you sending that weakling up front while having me stay back to protect the old man?" demanded Sasuke. Because her gentle fist style is best for disrupting clones, and I do believe that you were shaking like a leaf when Zabuza first appeared. Shino explained, earning a snigger from Naruto and Kiba. If I may add on to that plan. Naruto said. Hinata, you and Kiba just take care of any water clones that pop up, leave the man himself to me. As they formulated their plans, Zabuza started laughing. Oh, how cute, the kids are actually forming a plan. He taunted. Little shits like don't deserve to be called ninja. Not when by the time I was your age I already had blood on my hands. What are you talking about, Captain No Brows? Naruto asked. The village of Bloody Mist. Kurenai said. It used to be that graduating ninja would become genin by killing another member of their graduating class. It only ended when a ninja who was nowhere close to graduating slaughtered the entire graduating class. Ah, good times. Zabuza said with a psychotic gleam in his eye that made everyone shiver. You sure you want to fight this guy, Naruto? Sakura asked. Naruto looked at her with a confident smile and gleam in his eye. Oh yeah, I want to fight this guy, and also, let's face it, I'm the only one here who can actually last the longest against the psycho. He said with a smile. You just take care of yourself and the old man. Jinjutsu seemed to be pretty good at taking down those water clones. Sakura bit her lip and nodded. Just promise me you'll come out of this alive. Sakura said. Naruto smiled, turning around and giving her the thumbs up. Hinata, Kiba, let's take this son of a bitch down. Naruto shouted, charging into the fight, Hinata and Kiba at his sides. A water clone charged at Naruto, preparing to draw its sword. Trusting his spider sense, Naruto jumped over the clone, distracting it enough to let Hinata nail it in the chest. A second later an entire army of water clones appeared. I got them. Kiba said as he and Akamaru turned into feral forms of Kiba. Fang over fang. He and Akamaru started spinning, turning into drills as they mowed through the crowd. Naruto meanwhile practically flew over the group and shot a crossover web line at Zabuza's knees and pulled, causing Zabuza to lose his footing on the water and release the jutsus holding Kakashi and Kurenai. Still in midair he fired off 2 more web lines into Naruto's chest and pulled himself in, crashing into Zabuza's chest and jumped off, pushing him under the water. After some impressive aerial acrobatics, he flew into a tree and stuck to it. You little brat. Zabuza said, exploding out of the water. Tell me something, big guy, Naruto said with an annoying smile. Is that giant sword overcompensating for your lack of eyebrows, or is there just a lot of room in your pants? Zabuza roared and charged with his sword in hand, ready to slice Naruto into many tiny pieces when out of nowhere, Kakashi appeared blocking his sword. You did good, Naruto, but stay back and let us handle him. Kurina said. With all due respect, Kurenai-sensei, you guys had your chance and you got your butts kicked. Naruto said, the grin never leaving his face. Now it's my turn, unless you don't think you can take me, no brows. Zabuza roared again and threw Kakashi off before charging at Naruto. The blonde-haired boy's smile never wavered as he leapt onto the shore of the lake, effortlessly dodging Zabuza's attacks. Though you 7 swordsmen of the mist were supposed to be the best, Naruto taunted, bending back at the knees to avoid a horizontal slash, or was it just a club for a bunch of guys with giant swords to overcompensate for such small equipment? That's it, Naruto, keep taunting him. MJ instructed in his head. Peter would always taunt and anger his opponents. It made them angry and gave the impression that he was good enough to insult them while he was fighting them. Naruto twisted around on one foot to avoid downward attack. Using the momentum of the dodge, Naruto kicked Zabuza in the knee and followed up with a jab to the kidneys, an elbow to the cheek, and finished him off with an axe kick to the back of the head, sending Zabuza face first into the dirt. Not giving the ninja a second to recover, Naruto jumped over him and webbed him in the back. Whirling him around, he threw the swordsman into a tree and promptly webbed him to it. Stick around, Zab, while my senseis figure out what to do with you. Naruto said, nodding to Kakashi and Kurenai as he passed them and promptly launched himself over to his fellow genin, most of who were staring slack-jawed at him with looks of amazement, admiration, and anger. Nicely done, Naruto. Shino said, giving his teammate a thumbs up. Naruto just smiled and shrugged. That was real good, Naruto, I couldn't know you could move like that. Sakura added to her teammate. I didn't really know I could move like that either. He admitted. Just kind of let reflex and instinct take over. How come you never fought like that before? Kiba asked. Bloodline mostly. Gave me enhanced reflexes, agility, strength, flexibility. Naruto trailed off. It's really stuff that any ninja could be capable of if they trained enough. Naruto noticed Sasuke's glare and turned to him. You got a problem, duckhead? Naruto asked. Before Sasuke could answer though, Naruto's spider sense started screaming and Naruto wheeled around in time to see Zabuza get stabbed in the neck by a couple of senbon needles lodge themselves in Zabuza's neck. A second later 2 ninja in robes appeared. Thank you for defeating Zabuza. The one in the white robe said as his partner in blue started sawing at the webs around Zabuza with a kuni. We've been after him for a long time. It's no problem, Kakashi said as Zabuza was finally cut down. Bowing their heads, the pair and the corpse disappeared. Naruto was still looking at the spot where they'd just been with narrowed eyes. "Something wrong, kid?" Tazuna asked. "I don't know," Naruto admitted. "But there's just something about those two that makes my spider sense tingle." Shino and Sakura looked at each other while everyone else just looked confused. SF. The two hunter ninja landed in a clearing with Zabuza's still webbed up body. The hunter nin in blue slowly rolled out some tools and began to get to work. "I tell you, Iceman," the ninja in white said, pulling off his mask to reveal a pale boy with white hair and 2 dots on his head. "I will never get used to playing hunter ninja, or watching you work for that matter." "I agree with Kimimori," Zabuza groaned, apparently coming back to life. "You have all the finesse and subtlety of a butcher, Haku." Haku removed his mask to reveal a fair-skinned young man with dark hair tied in a bun. "Well, I'm only a child," Haku said almost sweetly. "A psycho near sadistic child," Kimimaro pointed out. "There was something about that blonde kid you fought, Zabuza. The way he was looking at us after you died. It was like he knew we weren't who we said we were." "He may be a problem in the future," Zabuza admitted, "and on top of that we have no idea what his other teammates are capable of, not that it'd make any big difference." "Still," Kimimaro said, rubbing his chin, "the next time we have to fight that kid, I think that maybe one of us should help you out." "You just want a chance to fight him, don't you, Wolverine?" Haku said with a smirk. "Shut up, Ice Cube," Kimimaro grumbled. The end. Thanks for watching, also remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.